What made 1960s British working-class families so resilient? The 1960s were a transformative time in Britain, full of swinging fashion, rock and roll, and social change. But behind the headlines and the music, ordinary families were weathering the storm of change with grit, humor, and deep-rooted community spirit. So, what made 1960s British working-class families so resilient? From coal-stained hands to tightly knit neighborhoods, this was a generation that knew how to get by with little and laugh while doing it. In a world before convenience, they found strength in each other, making resilience more than a necessity. It became a way of life. The power of community. Ask anyone who grew up in a 1960s terraced street, and they'll likely tell you the same thing. Everyone knew everyone. Communities were tight, like patchwork quilts stitched together by decades of shared struggles and tea-fueled chats over garden fences. Neighbors were like extended family. If your mom needed sugar, she'd just send you next door. If a baby cried, someone would check in. If you lost your job, someone knew someone who could help. That sense of belonging was crucial to emotional resilience. In places like Sunderland, Salford, or Glasgow's Gorbals, solidarity was survival. You didn't face hard times alone. Mom held the fort. In the home, Mom was the glue. The 1960s British working-class mother was a powerhouse of efficiency. She could stretch a roast to feed six, scrub clothes with raw hands, and still find time to curl her hair on a Sunday night. Despite limited resources, she created order, warmth, and routine. She managed rationing's leftovers, found bargains at the local co-op, and reused everything before recycling was trendy. Mothers were the unsung heroes of post-war Britain, passing down values of thrift, care, and quiet strength that made families thrive despite economic challenges. Dads who worked with their hands. Fathers in the 1960s working-class families often labored in physically demanding jobs: coal mining, factory shifts, shipbuilding, or steelworks. The work was tough, the hours long, and the pay often meager. But these men took pride in providing for their families, even when their backs ached and boots wore thin. They rarely complained. Pride was tied to hard work, and resilience was born from routine. Whether in the pits of South Wales or the textile mills of Yorkshire, these men endured, not just for themselves, but for the dignity of putting food on the table and shoes on their children's feet. Hand-me-downs and make do and mend. Clothes weren't bought for fashion. They were passed down from siblings, neighbors, or made from scraps. A mother's sewing kit was more valuable than a credit card. Jumpers were darned, trousers patched, and nothing was wasted. The make-do-and-mend mindset wasn't just a wartime hangover. It was a lifestyle. It taught kids the value of things and how to take care of what they had. This ingrained attitude of thriftiness and practical living helped families remain resilient in the face of inflation and unemployment. You couldn't buy your way out of a problem. You fixed it, reused it, or made it work. Discipline and respect started at home. In the 1960s, respect wasn't optional. It was expected. Parents taught children to say please and thank you, to sit still at the dinner table, and to never talk back to adults. The belt or slipper might have been hanging nearby, but often just the look from mom or dad was enough. This kind of discipline created structure and accountability. It might seem strict by today's standards, but for many families, it provided a moral compass during uncertain times. Children grew up knowing their place in the world and the importance of earning what they got, which bred a generation of tough, respectful workers. The role of religion and routine. Sunday meant church, no matter what you believed. Whether it was Church of England in Essex or Catholic Mass in Liverpool, religion played a central role in family structure and values. It wasn't just about belief. It was about belonging. Weekly routines revolved around Sunday roasts, family visits, and community gatherings. Faith and routine provided consistency in a rapidly changing world. It gave people hope, reinforced ethics, and provided a steady rhythm to daily life. This spiritual backbone offered a kind of emotional resilience that money couldn't buy. Kids grew up fast, but strong. Children in 1960s, British working-class families were rarely coddled. They ran errands, washed dishes, looked after younger siblings, and often left school at 15 to help support the household. School uniforms might have been too big and boots too tight, but these kids knew the value of hard work early on. Play was outdoors, rain or shine. They built dens from wood scraps, played Kirby with bricks, and made fun from nothing. That independence built resilience. They learned how to entertain themselves, solve problems, and stand up for each other. Skills that carried into adulthood. They had less, but they laughed more. There might have been one black and white TV for the whole street. Maybe no car. Holidays meant Blackpool, not Benidorm. But families made do. They sang songs around the piano, played card games, and told stories that filled cold nights with laughter. Resilience wasn't just about surviving. It was about how you survived. Humor, love, and storytelling helped families through the worst days. Laughter echoed through brick council estates and echoed in shared memories for decades. It was this ability to find joy in simplicity that made these families so enduring. Resilience in the face of change. The 1960s brought enormous cultural and technological shifts: television, pop music, civil rights, and changing social roles. For many working-class families, this era was both exciting and unsettling, but rather than resist every change, many adapted with quiet dignity. Daughters went to secretarial school. Sons tried for apprenticeships instead of the pit. The traditional family model bent, but didn't break. Families evolved, supported each other, and kept traditions alive even while stepping into a new world. This balance between honoring the past and embracing the future was key to what made 1960s British working-class families so resilient. Public services were a lifeline. The establishment of the NHS in 1948 and post-war social housing schemes made a huge difference by the 1960s. Council estates popped up across the country, offering clean housing with indoor toilets and proper heating, luxuries for many. Access to healthcare, public libraries, grammar schools, and job centers helped give working-class families a fighting chance. It wasn't perfect, but for the first time, ordinary families had some level of state support to fall back on. And they didn't take it for granted. The support of public systems was combined with personal effort, creating a society where resilience was built on both individual and collective strength. The unseen labor of women. While men toiled in the mines and mills, women's work often went unnoticed. From sunrise to bedtime, they cooked, cleaned, clothed children, mended socks, and managed tight household budgets. Some even took in laundry, cleaned offices, or worked part-time in shops. This invisible labor kept families running and communities whole. The resilience of the family unit rested heavily on the shoulders of women who, though rarely celebrated, were the architects of stability. Stronger together, extended families. Many families lived just a few streets from grandparents, uncles, or cousins. Multi-generational support was common. Gran might help raise the kids. Auntie might pass down old clothes. Uncle could get your dad into the factory. These networks created a safety net that softened life's blows. No one had to face hardship alone. Families weren't just nuclear, they were expansive, interconnected webs of mutual support. So, what made 1960s British working-class families so resilient? It wasn't wealth, or ease, or privilege. It was grit, love, laughter, and loyalty. In tough homes and tougher times, they built strength from community and character. Their spirit didn't just survive, it shaped the heart of modern Britain. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and turn on the notification bell.